Euro Bears, my name is Scarlet. I'm a 2024 AP Euro student, and today we're looking at Frankenstein, or the modern-day Prometheus, by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Published in 1818, when Shelley was only 20 years old, Frankenstein was written after the era of Enlightenment and into the beginning of the Romantic era. This book has stayed wonderfully relevant to this day and remains a fascinating critique on scientific curiosity taken too far. The eponymous protagonist of the book, Victor Frankenstein, is born sometime in the 1700s to a wealthy Genevan family. He has two supportive parents, two younger brothers, and an adopted sister named Elizabeth, who he also has a weird romantic relationship with, but we can just ignore that for now. When he turns 17, Victor leaves to attend medical school at the University of Ingolstadt in Munich, Germany. He spends 2 years as a student there until he eventually studies and discovers the secret to life and death. Victor never quite discloses what he actually did or the exact nature of his discovery, but with his newfound knowledge, he sets off to create something astounding. Victor proceeds to spend 2 impassioned years locked in his apartment, creating essentially an 8-foot-tall zombie creature made from human body parts. By the end of these 2 years, he uses his secret to life and death to animate his creation. The moment his creature starts moving, Victor immediately switches from his previous excitement to sheer terror at the realization of what he's done. He finds his living creature so repulsive that he runs from his apartment and into the city streets. When he returns several hours later, the creature is missing altogether. Instead of, perhaps, panicking that his 8-foot-tall zombie monster is suddenly missing, Victor rejoices that the greatest mistake of his life has up and vanished, never to return. He then proceeds to have a full-blown nervous breakdown that leaves him physically sick for multiple months. Once he is nursed back to health, tragedy strikes as Victor receives an upsetting letter from his family. Apparently, one of his younger brothers back home has been murdered by their beloved family maid in a botched robbery. Victor immediately races home to Geneva, though along the way he swears he spots his monstrous creation following him from beyond a nearby tree line. Having seen the creature following him, Victor now believes that it was not the family maid who killed his younger brother, but his wretched, vengeful creature. Victor briefly considers speaking up about this to his family, but believes he would either look like a madman or end up in jail. So, the maid ends up going to trial without any defensive evidence and is executed for the crime. Now, Victor is feeling rather guilty that his experiment has inadvertently killed 2 people. So, he does what any good depressed genius would do and runs off into nature to ponder or cry or something. Now, actually, I'd like to give a brief interjection. This countryside detour taken here by Victor is actually a really good example of the book's place within the Romantic era. Not only does the novel focus heavily on human emotion and the failings of enlightened rationality, but it also shows a great deal of reverence for nature. Here, Victor runs off into the Alps outside of Geneva to find an escape from his guilt. He proceeds to describe the Swiss countryside for pages and pages on end, how flawed he is in comparison to the grandiose and pure landscape. This description reflects the Romantic era's rejection of the oppressive Industrial Revolution in favor of the beauty and spiritual pureness of nature. Okay, so back to the book. While Victor is out hiking, his creature suddenly appears out of nowhere and corners him. Victor is terrified at first, but the creature pleads with him to listen to its tragic life story. After its creation and Victor's impromptu exit, the creature grabbed some of Victor's clothes to wear and confusedly stumbled out of the apartment. It wandered outside of the city and into the surrounding forest, where it discovered the beauty and curiosities of the natural world. The sky, animals, it even figured out how to build and maintain a fire. Yet, when the creature finally stumbled upon humans, it was continually rejected with disgust and violence. After months of encountering this mistreatment, the creature came to the conclusion that humanity would always hate it, and that it was alone in the world. Using some journal notes from the pocket of Victor's previously stolen clothes, the creature tracked down Victor's hometown of Geneva. Here, it admits to accidentally killing Victor's younger brother, but then framing the maid as revenge upon its creator. The creature finishes its life story, and then begs Victor to make it a female counterpart so it may have a companion in this world. The creature argues that since Victor created and then abandoned it, that he at the very least owes it this. It also threatens to kill Victor's entire family otherwise. Under the pressure of his guilt and its threat, Victor agrees. He gathers the proper supplies and begins recreating his original experiment. Yet, halfway through building this second creature, Victor starts thinking about the potential consequences. What if they end up hating each other? Or what if they end up having children and create a whole new species of monsters with which to terrorize the world? Coming to the conclusion that making a second creature would cause way more damage than just his first, Victor quickly destroys the body. The creature walks in on him doing so and becomes enraged, promising Victor ominously that it will be with him on his wedding night. Oh, because hey, turns out that Victor and his adopted sister/love interest Elizabeth are getting married. Forgot to mention that side plot because it's still kind of gross. The creature storms out, and Victor takes the threat to mean that the monster will kill him after he gets married. Victor is weirdly content with the idea, feeling perhaps that he deserves it for all the harm he's caused. He elects to simply enjoy his last few weeks on Earth before the creature kills him. He does, in fact, enjoy those last few weeks on Earth with his lovely sister/fiancée, and then they are happily married. But on their wedding night, right as they're preparing to leave for their honeymoon, the creature sneaks inside and kills Elizabeth instead of Victor, because Victor apparently failed to take into account the previous threat of his entire family being murdered. Stricken with grief, Victor chases the monster as it flees, intent to kill it for all the ways it's ruined his life. They end up in a chase that lasts for months, going all the way up into the northernmost regions of the Russian tundra. Despite his deep hatred for the monster he created, Victor fails to catch it, and eventually dies from exposure. With its creator and nemesis finally dead, the monster sees no point in going on either. It lights itself on fire, and the book ends. Frankenstein, amongst its many themes and connections, mainly acts as a critique of unchecked human curiosity. Victor, without much thought towards the consequences, essentially uncovers and utilizes a discovery beyond the set laws of the universe. He believes his actions will result in some sort of societal improvement or power bestowed upon him, but all it results in is multiple dead family members and his life destroyed. It's a classic cautionary tale, meant to specifically comment on the evolution of technology from the Enlightenment and scientific and industrial revolutions of the 1700s. This cautionary tale is also displayed through the book's use of religious imagery. Frankenstein frequently mentions the Bible in Thomas Milton's book Paradise Lost, casting Victor as God and the creature as either Adam or the fallen Satan. Victor literally attempts an act of God, giving life to a being sculpted in his own image. Yet, Victor falls short of actually being a god, and frequently displays his own very imperfect human qualities. When faced with his own creation, he immediately abandons it, and consistently fails in either helping the creature or stopping its harmful actions. Even the title of the book, Frankenstein, or the modern-day Prometheus, ties back to religion, with the Greek myth of Prometheus. The myth describes a titan who stole fire from the gods to give to humanity, who was then subsequently caught and tortured for his theft. Victor similarly thought he could obtain and wield godlike powers, yet is quickly humbled and doomed for his hubris. Frankenstein also exhibits the changing philosophies around childhood development established just before Mary Shelley's time. This theme is explored through Victor and the creature's very different upbringings. Victor grows up in a well-off, loving household surrounded by friends and family. Throughout the book, when he is faced with stress and tragedy, it is his loved ones who continually support him. The creature, however, is provided no such support. It is immediately abandoned by its father and subsequently abused by any humans it comes across. This mistreatment squashes the creature's hope for a happy life, transforming it into a vindictive monster. This dichotomy between Victor and the creature perfectly displays newer ideologies discussing nature versus nurture, like those from philosophers Jean-Jacques Rousseau and John Locke. They similarly stated that people are not born with an inherent nature, but created by their circumstances. There are certainly more themes to be found within Frankenstein's complex writing, but these three, curiosity, religion, and identity, are the main ideas. I personally think that Frankenstein has stayed popular for so long due to its stellar writing and unique concept. Not only is it an early example of science fiction and a foundational piece of Gothic horror, but it has a wonderfully metaphor-laden story which continues to be applicable even to the modern day. It acts as both a time capsule of the converging ideas of Mary Shelley's era and a timeless example of human behavior in the face of the unknown. Thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun making this. I genuinely really enjoyed reading Frankenstein, and I would highly suggest it to anybody who enjoys Gothic horror or philosophy. Shout out to my AP Euro teacher, Mr. Andrus, he's great, and also Bernie Wrightson, who made all those beautiful illustrations I used in my slides. Okay, thank you.